What is up, guys? Today, I'm really excited about this interview because we have someone who, and if you do not know what a 2 Comma Club award is, for someone who has crossed $1 million through one sales funnel. Now, it is really an honor and privilege to have someone who's achieved this milestone, who's also been the no BS advertising guy behind names like Frank Kern and Grant Cardone. And these are names you hear all the time in the internet space of people who are ruling the internet today, the influencers, and there's always someone behind them to make sure that their marketing goals are on point. So it gives me real pleasure and honor to have with us Hernan Vazquez. Thank you so much for doing this, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Definitely. So just for the audience to know a little bit more about your journey, it's been I think over, you started with the internet space around 2015, 11 or 15 is when you started with Fiverr, right?
Yeah. That was back in the day. So let me give you a little bit of a backstory. I've been doing this internet marketing thing, for the past, I would say 10 years, 11 years now. And I had a really comfortable job. This was like 10 or 11 years back. And I had a really comfortable job here in Argentina. I'm originally from Buenos Aires. And here in Argentina, I had a really comfortable job. I was managing an HR department, so I used to interview a lot of people and whatnot. And but at some point, I felt that I just wasn't cut for the 9 to 5 type of approach to things. So so I decided to take the leap, and I left my job without any type of golden parachute or whatever, or safety net. So I decided to go ahead and pursue my entrepreneurial dream, whatever that was at the time, and I moved in with my girlfriend to a really nice city here in Argentina called Cordoba. And it's like southern, center southern of the country. So it gets like really cold in the winter, really, really cold. And we were there with my girlfriend. She had a job. She's a journalist. So she had a job, a local newspaper and whatnot. And, but I didn't. So at some point I was like trying to figure this thing out. I was doing WordPress websites. I was doing whatever I could basically. And one of the things that I did, because at that point we had to actually choose. Mm-hmm. If we put money on the table, if we put food on the table, or if we heat up our house. So we had to choose actually. We couldn't afford to heat up the house. So it was like really cold. And I remember back in the day, I started, researching on forums and whatnot. And I landed on Fiverr.com, and I opened my profile there, and I did 2 things because I was also learning about SEO. So I did 2 things. Number one, I wrote articles. I could kind of write okay in English. Mm-hmm. So I started writing articles for like $5 a pop. It was $4 coming my way because they kept one. Yeah. Because before Fiverr became the Fiverr that it is today, that you have awesome people doing stuff for $50, $100, $200. At that point, it wasn't. It was like all $5 type of services, right? And that's how it became really famous. So I was getting I was running articles for $4 a pop, and I was also doing backlink building with tools like GSA and a bunch of other crazy spam tools and whatnot. So that's basically how I got started in this, quote unquote, universe. Mm-hmm. And so I was there like chugging along like 12 hours a day, writing articles in the middle of the winter. I was like wearing like 6 sweaters or something like that. My fingers were swollen because of, all of this typing and, and the cold and whatnot. So it was quite the experience, but it kind of opened the doors to, number one, seeing what was possible. That was my first like online gig. So when I got really happy when I started getting orders on Fiverr, so I was like, oh, wow, I'm getting money deposited in my PayPal account, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting money deposited on my PayPal account. And I think, okay, so this is real. I could make this happen. And then if I work X amount of hours per day, and I started doing the math. And so that was the one thing. And then the other thing is that I was doing a good job. I was trying to over deliver as much as possible. So people started reaching out to me outside of Fiverr and trying to hire me outside of Fiverr. So that's how I got my first couple of, clients outside of Argentina. So that really opened my my eyes to that possibility. But yeah, the Fiverr times were good. I still hold, like, I still have the Fiverr profile,
Okay.
you know, and I have it there as a reminder of you know, where we started and where we're at right now. So that was pretty cool.
You know, like they say that you should never forget your roots and where you come from, and that's what really keeps you grounded. And you know, the fact that you explored, you know, you unlocked the doors into the game, this universe, like you said, of you know, internet marketing. You started off by providing services online in exchange for money using Fiverr. So how did, like, I mean, that you must have had like that breakthrough experience where once you realized that you could work from home, you know, and then provide a service in exchange for money without leaving or your home, or you know, having to work in a 9 to 5. You know, once that the paradigm came in, that shift came in, that you know, you don't need to work in a job anymore, you can be self-employed, then how did you really scale your journey, you know, as you know, from being self-employed to scaling into an entrepreneur?
That's actually a great question. So I still consider myself, so I have a small team of people working with me right now. I'll still consider myself, you know, self-employed to a degree because I really like what I do. So I like to do it like every day. But I do have a small team, and then I have a couple companies, you know, that are kind of self-sufficient in a way. So, so the way it worked was pretty much, you know, when I unlocked that first order, right? That first sale, that first thing that came through the email and said, hey, you got money, now you need to get to work. That kind of unlocked, you know, the thing on me that was saying, okay, so this is real, right? This is real. So out of that, I started like the same SEO vein. I started like getting better at SEO. I started doing, you know, a bunch of different things. Like I started doing web design for some clients, like WordPress websites. I'm not a coder. I don't know how to code. So what I would do is install WordPress and then install a theme and then try to figure it out how to change things based off of the client's desire, which I didn't know how to do, but you know, you had to figure it out. And then clients started asking me for traffic and SEO. So it was a lot of curiosity based, like, you know, propelled by curiosity, like reading on forums, reading on Reddit, or reading, you know, consuming tutorials, trying like a bunch of different things that didn't work. Hundreds and thousands of things that didn't work. Like for instance, I would go into a forum and some guy will develop like a Twitter bot that would give you, I don't know, $5 a day promoting like affiliate stuff. And then I would go in and try it. And of course it didn't work. Right. But you know, at the very least you learn, it either works or you learn. So at that point, I started researching a lot about SEO. I started getting better about SEO, and I started brainstorming with this group. It was by, I joined this group called Dynasty by Alex Becker. This was like 7 years ago. And he put together this group, and I joined this group. And then I started brainstorming with all of these SEO guys that they all had their own agency, right? And that's how I met my current partners that, you know, Semantic Mastery is the company that got the 2 Comma Club award this year. So I was there, you know, representing the company. So that's how, you know, I came to this place of building a company based off of great partners. And that's basically how I started doing it. But it was mostly propelled by curiosity, I would say. So when you're really curious, and then what happened with Semantic Mastery is that we started like growing this company, and we started like producing our own training for other SEO agencies. And that's basically what Semantic Mastery does right now. And then what we needed to have is we needed to acquire customers. So that's when I started, I started like researching about Facebook ads, because, you know, we needed to get people into our funnels and leads into our email list, you know, and people buying our courses with Semantic Mastery. So this was like six years ago. And out of that, I became really good at Facebook ads. And that what I have been doing for the past 6 years and so. So that's basically, you know, how Semantic Mastery got funded. And then with great partners, which are not easy to find, let me tell you, you know, I had like a lot of failed partnerships, but this is kind of a rare thing. So we're trying to keep it, you know, running and keep it going. But I think that finding a partner or a group of people that complement you, that, you know your strengths, and you need to try and test a lot of different things to actually understand what you're really good at. Once you have that, then you need to find people that they're really good at some other things that you're really bad at, you know, and then that's how you start growing a business. That's how you start growing a company, by either hiring people or partnering with people that are good at the things that you are not good at, so that you can focus on the things that you're really good at and make the company grow. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, 100%. And I believe that, you are not only an average with people, you spend the most time with the people, you spend the most time with the people who help you to grow, as an individual and as a professional. And you surrounded yourself with the right people, even though you had to go through some, some wrong ways. But eventually you landed up in the right place, and the company got a 2 Comma Club award, which is the goal for a lot of people. So how was, I mean, like, see, looking at your journey from, being a web developer, like just learning as you went along, to, getting into SEO, and, then working, with partners, and, getting this award. Like, so this whole journey, you've been in this game for, like, probably more than like 7, 8, 10 years, more or less, in, with respect to your experience. And, for someone who's just starting off right now, they're exposed to so many, I would say, easier avenues, because there's so many resources that one can access, whether it's building your list, whether it's traffic and conversions, whether it's copywriting. There is so many different skills that anyone can just pick up, and just focus on mastering that. Now, I've been watching your videos with respect to, everything that you speak about with respect to Facebook ads. And, you definitely have, so much value to share, because you've really, like, you've gone into that mastery mode with respect to all the experience that you have, and now you're providing value because there's so much of it that you have to provide. So Facebook ads, as I personally feel, is quite, you really need to know how to crack the code, because it's like an algorithm within an algorithm. Okay, there's just so much to it. So for someone who's just getting started with Facebook ads, since you've sold probably practically everything through Facebook ads, right? Probably it's a course, you've sold trainings, high ticket stuff. I'm sure you've sold everything. So for someone who's just getting started today, and they want to really learn how to use Facebook ads, there's so much information available online, and there are so many courses available online. But what do you think are, like, the necessary things, that someone needs to know when getting started?
That's actually a great point. I would say, out of all of the skill sets that you need to develop to become a successful online entrepreneur, Facebook ads and generating traffic is just one of them, so you can become really good at it. I would say that there's a couple of others, like copywriting. I think that for anything you're doing, it's needed. Right. It's 100% needed. And it's one of the things that it's the most hard to outsource or to hire. And all of the people that I know that have, I had the pleasure and the honor of working with guys like Frank Kern. I was working with the team at Grant Cardone, and all of these people, they all honing in the craft of copywriting and how to communicate a message. Mm-hmm. Because the way I think about it is that you can learn Facebook ads, you can learn YouTube ads, you can learn, email marketing and all of this, but the technologies and the mechanics are always changing. They're always changing. Like, for instance, if I put you guys, that's why I don't like doing Facebook ads courses, for instance, because when you film the whole thing, and then 2 weeks later, Facebook changes the way it looks, right? So it becomes dated. So that's why I don't usually do that unless by request. But the way I think about it is that copywriting is one of the fundamental skill sets for whatever you need to do, because you're appealing to human psychology, and human psychology doesn't change. It hasn't changed for the past millions of years, and it won't change over the past, over the next like couple 100,000 years. So you can rely on that to actually, if you know how to write copy, if you know how to craft a message at an offer that people will buy, you will never have to worry about money ever again. So one of the resources for that I always recommend is that if you go to Google and you search for Gary Halbert letters, right? Or actually it's Gary Halbert challenge. Okay. It's the Gary Halbert challenge. You go to Google, you search for that, and it's free, it's online. And then it will tell you which books you need to read, and it will tell you which sales letters you need to transcribe by hand. Like I think he gives you like 5 sales letters, 10 sales letters, something like that that you need to actually sit down and transcribe by hand. And I did that. One of those sales letters is the famous Rolls-Royce sales letter by David Ogilvy. There's a couple of sales letters that you can transcribe. And that exercise alone gives you a lot of, I don't know what's happening with your brain when you're doing this, that you start soaking and you start feeling the tempo and the rhythm of these sales letters. So the best way to learn copy is to write copy. You know, so Frank would always say that if you want to learn copy, write a sales letter a day for the next 30 days and you will become a decently good copywriter. And then you can export that skill set to any other thing like YouTube ads, or if you want to create videos, you will craft a copy piece and then you will just say it out loud, because videos are just that, right? So that is the one thing that I would recommend. And then the second thing is, once you become good at crafting messages and offers, you need to become good at traffic. Facebook ads, it's a great avenue. I still love it. I know that a lot of people hate it. I still really like it. And the reason why is because it allows you to, first off, it allows you to target your audience, you know, in a way that you cannot target it anywhere else. So that is number one. And number two, it also allows you to build audiences within Facebook, and before people even land on your sales funnel or in your landing page. And the way you do this is you can create video ads, you can run video ads, and if people are consuming that video content, then you can put them in custom audiences and you can show them more ads and whatnot. But the best way to learn Facebook ads, in my opinion, is to go in the Facebook platform and lose a couple $100. That's the best way to learn Facebook ads, such as the best way to learn copy is to write copy. The best way to learn Facebook ads is to go out there and launch your first couple Facebook ads and then lose a couple $100. And then you will realize, okay, this is how it's supposed to work and this is what's going on. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. 100%. And, you know, if you want to learn how to swim, just jump.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
exactly.
So like you said, you know, like I completely believe that copywriting is definitely, you know, one of the most important skills. And, you know, there's a lot of amazing resources available out there that, you know, I mean, one of, you know, like you took names of, you know, the oldest copywriters that, you know, would write $1 million sales copy and sales messages. You know, speaking of books like, you know, Breakthrough Advertising, also like a fabulous book. So my question to you, Hernan, is the fact that, you know, when you're writing, when you're, you know, looking at all these different skills available, you know, copywriting is definitely all about crafting your messages and offers, which is what you need to, you know, connect with people, you know, with respect to the psychographics. But when you're, you know, generating traffic, now you said like, see, Facebook ads is just one avenue. Now, what do you have to say about, you know, relying on just one avenue of traffic? What do you have to say about that? Do you believe in having, like, you know, your eggs in different baskets, or do you just believe in just going one way to generate traffic?
Yeah, that's actually a great point. And I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm a big believer that you need to diversify your traffic sources. You know, I've been working with, like, I don't know, 3 years ago with SEO clients long enough that I know that they depend heavily on Google, for instance. And the minute the Google algorithm changes, they're done, right? They're done. They'll lose like 50 to 80% of the traffic. Their sales plummets and all of that. The same kind of happens with Facebook, like Facebook organic. I knew a bunch of people that were relying on the reach and the virality of videos. And then when Facebook changed the organic algorithm, that goes down. The same with Instagram, right? Instagram was great before being bought by Facebook in the organic sense. And then they changed the algorithm to be more likely, or more like to Facebook, more similar to Facebook's algorithm. And then everyone's scrambling. So I do believe on building a brand. And building brands, they, like, if you see, for instance, I don't know, the big, you know, influencers or thought leaders like Gary Vaynerchuk or Tony Robbins, or, you know, even Grant Cardone and whatnot, they're household names, they're brands, right? So if Grant Cardone gets one Facebook ad account shut down, of course they're going to be, you know, they're going to feel it in a way more. If you're spending a lot of money, you will feel it for sure. But they also have their email list. They also have their Facebook profile. They also have their Instagram profile. So they also have all of these different avenues of traffic that they can actually, you know, tap into. So I do believe that you can use a source of traffic like Facebook or YouTube to build a brand, and that will trickle in the other stuff that you're doing. However, as an entrepreneur, I think that you need to become really, 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 really good. I would say top 1% good in the world at one thing, and one thing only. Like for instance, whatever that is, Facebook ads. Okay, go all in on Facebook ads and master the platform, right? Become one of the top 10 media buyers in the world. That's the type of mentality that you need to have. Try to become one of the best at what you do, because if you see the difference of who is being paid the most, the top 5 in the world. Like for instance, I'm not a big soccer fan, but I'm into the soccer culture because of Argentina and whatnot. Yeah. So if you see, for instance, Lionel Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, these big soccer players, right? You see the difference between what they're making, which are the top 1% of the 1%, what they're making, versus really good players that are, in like maybe bigger teams as well, but they're not Messi. So that the difference is like, it's mind-blowingly big. Exactly. So if you're going to go after something, you need to become the very best at that. And that's the only thing that will pay, that's the only thing that will pay you really, really well. Now, once you get to that, then you can use that traffic source or that mechanism to build your brand. And that's how you stop depending on one source of traffic. But I'm a big believer on doubling down, like Gary Vee would say, double down on your strengths and then outsource or hire or partner with somebody that will, complement on your weaknesses, and then go all in on your strengths. When you're seeing these guys like, again, Frank Kern, Grant Cardone working, you are seeing the top 1% of the 1% working at a capacity that it almost feels like magic. I had the honor of seeing Frank writing copy in front of me, and it almost felt like magic, or I seen Grant Cardone negotiate, right? And trying to sell something, and it almost feel like magic. That is years of honing down a specific skill set that, allows you to be at the top of the food chain. So that is my advice for somebody, getting to start out. Find an avenue that you like, whatever that is. Is it e-commerce? Is it Shopify? Is it email? What is it? Like, is it shout outs on Instagram? Is it viral marketing? Is it like, I don't know, banner placement? Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that you can become really good at it. You need to like it, number one, to become really good at it. And number two, you need to dedicate an amount of, a lot of hours for you to become really, really good at it. And it's like Bruce Lee said, it's like, I don't fear the guy or I don't fear the person that practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the person that practiced one kick 10,000 times. Right. So that's I kind of live by that rule. And it's been really generous. Once you become really good at what you're doing, and I would say one of the best at what you're doing, then it's easy for you to see how you can trickle that into building a brand that won't be, it won't be shaken by a change of algorithms, if that makes sense.
No, 100%. And one question that I wanted to ask you with respect to people who are getting started, with the whole online game is, identifying and trickling down on their niche, because it's all about it's not about really, going out there, like somebody who's just getting started, doesn't have any idea what to do, how to get started. So what would be your advice with respect to identifying their niche? What would be like your strategy to really get clear on what am I going to start my business and make sure it's going to be around this particular topic?
Right. So that's actually a good point. I think that it comes by testing. You have all of these frameworks about, I don't know, like product to market fit, or you have all of these frameworks about going out there and finding the perfect avatar or whatever, and they're all good. But dude, like, I tested so much stuff. I've been into so many niches, and at the end of the day, maybe the niche is good, or the platform is good, or the project is making money, but I don't jive with it. I don't like it, and if you don't like it, if you're not passionate about it, how are you supposed to put it all of the hours that you need to put in to turn that into a company, right? I've had a bunch of niches, like I've been, involved in insurance, gold selling, I don't know, dog moms and products. I've been like in all sorts of niches, but if you don't jive, and I'm really into marketing and helping other entrepreneurs grow. So if you don't jive with what you're doing, if you don't really like what you're doing, it's really hard for you to put in the hours, right? I mean, I guess that some people could, I couldn't. So in some cases I had to shut down profitable niches and profitable businesses because it wasn't my thing, right? So when you're starting out, I think that you need to give yourself the time to test and to figure yourself out. Maybe some people, they already know what they like, and some people, they already understand and they come with this blueprint in their head. But I would say that most of the entrepreneurs that I know, including myself, we had to go through this path of understanding what we didn't like to do or what we weren't good at, so that by the time you hit on something and you become good at it and then you like it, then you can go all into that. But it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of testing. I would say put out as many pieces of content as you can, put out as many hooks out there as you can, start with something and see where that leads you, because everything is a big experiment at this point. I still think when I'm launching new campaigns and when I'm launching new offers, everything is an experiment. Everything is a test. So if you approach with that mentality, then again, you either win or you learn. If you win, you keep on doing. If you fail, there's no failure because you learn something, right? And then you move to the next thing. Does that make sense?
No, definitely. And I think I absolutely agree with you. It's all about, testing, just like ads. Testing your niche also is something that will give you more clarity. And at the end of the day, it's not really about what you want to do. It's about what's required from the market, and really just filling the gaps in your own way. Now, my question to you is this is related to the niche. Now, how do you really differentiate yourself from other people in, the internet marketing universe, as you said?
Right. So I really like that question. Let me roll back for a little second about what you just said, which is it's not about what you like, it's about what the market wants. And that is actually really, really powerful. And I had to learn that the hard way. So for instance, a lot of us, we wake up with this idea in mind, right? With this course idea or this new program idea or this business idea in mind. And we think that's going to change everyone's lives, and we go at it and blah, blah, blah. And then we spend all of this time and this money developing that thing, whatever that is. It's a product or a course, whatever that is, or a program. We spend all of this money and time. And then when we try to market, nobody wants it, So that has happened to me a lot of times. So something that I've learned is to do the other way around, is to build an audience, which is, it's tied to the second question, which is how do you differentiate yourself, is by building an audience. So you build this audience and then you use that audience as testing ground. As, hey guys, like ask them questions like, hey guys, what do you think if we develop something like this and something like that, or this course, that program, that product and whatnot. And what that will allow you to do is to have this testing, this resonance box, if you would, so that you can bounce off ideas. And then the ideas that really take off, which are the ones that people are loving it. And not only that, but people are paying money to be part of something that will be launched in the future, like Kickstarter, or you can like build a waiting list of people, giving you like $50 for a product that is not built yet, but it will in the future. Those are the ideas that you start developing. So the question is, how do you differentiate yourself when there's so much competition? I think that it's about being as helpful as possible on a consistent basis. So for instance, with Semantic Mastery, we have been doing this thing called Hump Day Hangouts, which is a call every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern that we do live. And we have been doing it for the past 5 or 6 years. We are on episode 280 something right now. So we have been consistent at that. And we have been building that, and we have been always showing up and answer questions. They're mostly digital agency questions, right? And what happened is that has been, we don't charge anything for that. We just go live on YouTube and answer questions. And that has been our number one growth tool for the company. It has been our number one lead gen source for the company as well. So you think about it, you're saying, well, you're putting yourself out there, you're giving away everything for free, and then people won't buy from you. Well, that's not the case. People buy access, right? People buy proximity. So if they can be close to us, then they will pay, right?
Mm.
So that has been one big differentiator that we have had. So the main point is that whatever it is that you like to do, maybe you don't like being on camera, but maybe you like writing, or maybe you like podcasts, or maybe you like, you know, whatever that is, or maybe you like putting really good content on Instagram or Facebook. I would suggest you do it consistently in a way that will differentiate you, because people will start following you, and that's how you kind of become a brand in and of itself. Like I've seen Tony Robbins a couple times live, and he would say, listen, we could do right now, we can go out there in the middle of the desert, and I'm pretty sure that if you drop my name, we can fill up like a, you know, we can fill up a venue, we can fill up like a stadium there in the middle of the desert. If you drop my name, Tony Robbins is going to be there. But the reason why is because he's been putting out content and goodwill in the marketplace over the past 30 plus years. Yes. So that's how you get to differentiate yourself. There's no shortcuts. If you don't differentiate yourself, you're just another marketer, you're just another entrepreneur, you're just another Facebook ads guy. But the way to differentiate yourself is to put out content, put a really helpful content, and find your voice. In terms of put out content, see what people like, and put more content about that. Does that make sense?
No, 100%. I think it's all about being, you know, it's what we call consistent visibility. You know, when you're consistently putting out content out there, and you're, like you said, rightly so, you know, you find your voice. It's like Russell Brunson says that, you know, you take one medium and you just post every single day for 100 days. You know, whether it's doing a podcast, writing a blog, or doing videos, do it every single day for 365 days. And in those 365 days, if you do it consistently, you'll find your voice. You'll find what is it that you can double down on. And, you know, you just mentioned that. So, Hernan, before we close this interview, and thank you so much for sharing so much value. I think this has really been awesome. Is so currently at this point, like what is your focus right now with what you're doing?
So, as I mentioned, I have a small team of people working with me. We do Facebook ads for some specific clients, you know, that we really resonate with, or there's, you know, we are 100% sure that we can help them. So we take clients on a case-by-case basis, but my focus is mostly right now for 2020 is like going out there in places like, you know, like you're really generous about inviting me, and you know, giving me a little bit of your time and your platform and all of that. And the reason why is because I want to spread the message. I want to spread the message, and I want to grow this personal brand as well, because I understand the power of that. And that's going to be my focus for the next couple of years. I've always been the guy behind the scenes. You know, I've always been the guy running the ads, creating the campaigns, creating the marketing, all of that behind the scenes. So I think that this is a good point for me to start building that and helping as many entrepreneurs as possible through that message. Some people will feel compelled to buy my products and courses, but that's not the point. The point is that maybe something that you said, maybe something that we did, maybe something that you saw, you know, unlock that code in your mind to actually build your business and help more people. And I think when you're helping entrepreneurs, 1 + 1 = 1 million, because we don't know who's listening to this right now. And if that helps other entrepreneurs to serve better their audience, so the impact that you have a measurable impact in, you know, the economy of even a country, if you want to. So that's my my take for the next couple of years. That's what I'm focusing on.
Awesome. And before we go, do you have any pieces of wisdom and guidance for people who are just starting off, like just a few, you know, lines of wisdom to get them going?
Yeah, for sure. So keep testing as much as possible. Testing is good. Testing will open your eyes to what's possible. Testing is good in terms of, you know, just go out to the forums or to the Facebook group, see what other people are saying. Offer yourself to help for free, just for the sake of learning. That has also been huge for me. Like, offer yourself, offer your hands, offer your brain, offer your legs, or whatever that is, for free, for you to create connections and learn and help other entrepreneurs. And that will accelerate your growth like you didn't thought possible. So that would be my advice.
Definitely. And one last question, which I wanted to ask you: how has life really like transformed for you from, you know, being, we were talking about like when you were with your girlfriend and you had to make a choice, you know, to now having so much security, so much stability, you know, like how has that really transformed you as a person?
I think that it does transform you in terms of the leverage that you have and the things that you can do. Like having the opportunity of, you know, offering jobs to other people, it has really been, you know, like really cool for me. The opportunity of, you know, hiring some other people to help myself, and even hiring here in Argentina, you know, bring in a little bit of that to here to hire people and help people and give jobs. That has been pretty cool. But I think it's a matter of what's possible. I'm always challenging myself to think bigger. So I'm always trying to challenge myself to think bigger and to go further and to go faster. I think that it never really ends. You never really arrive. It's just a matter of what you can do with your time, which is much more if you have the resources and if you can get people to help you. What you can do with your time is, you know, is much more leverage, if you would, to actually get the message out there. So that has been the number one thing that I would say, helping other people, achieving, you know, their dreams in whatever shape or form they have, and also hiring people and giving jobs. That has been a huge satisfaction for me.
No, definitely. And, you know, I just want to say thank you so much, Hernan, for doing this. And I really, you know, look forward to, you know, working and learning from each other in the future as well. And I think the most important thing that I took away from this interview was the fact that, you know, it's all about really just putting yourself out there, you know, seeing what clicks, and then just like focusing on that until, you know, you find your voice. And once you find your voice, then, you know, there's really nothing stopping you. You know, it's just that initial hurdle, initial challenge. And once you overcome that, then, you know, you just have to have that perseverance and persistence and consistency. And that's the key. And that's what, you know, worked for you and works for everyone. And you're on this mission, you've pivoted, you made that pivot where you want to like go from being the behind the scenes guy to being out there, you know. So I definitely will be seeing a lot more of you. So for those of you who are watching right now, if you want to connect with Hernan, I'm going to drop some links below to his website, and you can go and, you know, connect with him. He's an amazing guy. As you can see, this is the first time I was speaking with him, and it was just a great conversation. Hernan, I think I've made you know, I've made a new friend in Argentina now, so that's extremely fantastic. And you've made a friend in India, so whenever
Let's go, man.
you know, it's you're gonna have some fun. So thank you so much for doing this, Hernan. And you know, if for those of you who are watching, make sure, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like. If you have any questions for us, make sure you drop your questions below, and always make sure to subscribe. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in the next interview. Thank you.